Okay, thanks for watching today. I'm going to do a hardwood floor on an isometric room. So here's your default cube. So I'm going to tab into edit mode into vertices, click on the closest vertice and X to delete the vertice. And this, in essence, is my isometric room. There's your back two walls and your floor. So I'm actually going to move this up. So I'm going to tab back into object mode and I'm going to grab this, move it up to Z axis till it's above the floor. Kind of like that. Okay. So now I am going to tab into edit mode, faces. I'm going to select the floor. I can do a shift D and hit enter and then P to separate the selection. So now over here, it's a separate object. So now I'm going to top back into object mode, select the floor that we just created, and I can do / to hide everything else but the selected object. I'm going to tab into edit mode into faces. I'm going to do Command R to add an edge loop, and I'm going to add a bunch, something like that. So now I'm going to go to faces here, and I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to hold shift and select these two to deselect them, and then X to delete these faces. So now I'm going to do a Command R to add edge loops to this, something like that. And now I'm going to select alternating edges, and I'm going to dissolve these edges, not delete them, but dissolve them. So now I have kind of the offset, like I'm trying to make hardwood floor. So this is kind of the offset of where the hardwood floor pieces join. So I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to E to extrude on the Z axis to give it some thickness. And then I am going to go back into faces here, and I'm going to select all these faces, and I'm going to do I to inset. Now you can see how it's only insetting on the perimeter of this object, not on all the edges. So if I hit I a second time, now it's insetting based on all the edges. So I'm going to left click to accept that. Then I'm going to do G to grab on the Z axis. I'm going to move this up. And this is the bevel effect that you would see on hardwood floors. So now I'm going to go back into object mode. I'm going to hit the / to bring back my room. And I'm going to add an array modifier to extend this floor the whole space of the room. So you can see now the array modifier is moving it along the x-axis. That's because this is 1. So I can make that 0. And this is going to be 1. And now it's going along the y-axis. I'm just going to increase this to fill out my floor. And there is your hardwood floor or your floor planks for your isometric room. And while we're here, you know what? We'll add some wood grain effect to this. So we're going to go into the shader editor, and we are going to, so right here, we're going to add a couple things here to fill this out. So Shift A to add. So we're going to add texture coordinates. We're going to add, we are going to add vector mapping. We're going to add a noise texture. And we're going to add a color ramp. So I'll just see if I can zoom in a bit on this. Grab this. Move these closer together so I can zoom in so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so we're going to join object to vector, vector to vector, factor to factor and color to color. Now, it's putting it everywhere, but we just want it on the floor. So, to make this floor look like wood, we are going to mess with